Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the April 2021 edition of the Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting. If you would, rise and join me in pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call.
Jeremy Kuiper. Absent. Jeff Bungie.
Here.
John Capero.
Present.
Jerry Wilkening.
Absent.
Nick Recupato.
Recupito is present.
Recupito.
Is present.
It happened.
That's all
David
right.
Austin.
Yeah, I'm here.
Jill Murr.
Present.
Tim Kubiak. Rick Everling.
Here.
Terry Knowles. Here.
Okay, thank you. Minutes from the previous meeting. We actually have two, I believe, to approve tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct. February 11th and March 11th.
Does anyone want to have any corrections or?
I didn't see any.
No, sir.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Both sets? Or
Both
do we,
sets.
or do we need separate motions?
You don't need separate motions there, and you're identified here together. So
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the motion, the minutes as presented. Any questions? Roll call?
Nick Recupato.
Yes.
John Capora.
Yes,
Jeff Bungie.
Yes.
Bungie.
Motion passes 3-0. New business, special use exemption, Douglas Machok, owner and petitioner, vicinity of 7105 West 133rd Place, Cedar Lake. This special use variance is to allow the petitioner to operate a private auto detail shop in a B3 use in a B1 zoning district. Mr. Austin? We have a petitioner present? Yep. Step up and tell us what you'd like to do, please.
Good evening, everyone. Do I need to keep a mask on when I'm at the podium? or-
I don't believe so.
Okay, good. I can barely breathe. It's a good thing, right? My name is Douglas Machok. I'm the owner of Buggas LLC. The location that I'm asking for a special use variance is 7105 West 133rd Place. I'm asking for this variance for the type of business I have. I'm a fixed and mobile auto detailing, metal polishing operation. In addition to, I sell Jack's Wax. I'm the commercial rep for the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. Out of this location, I'll be detailing less than 10 vehicles a month at the location. I've been mostly mobile. All my bigger stuff would be mobile. And I specialize in car show detailing. I detail vehicles at the Chicago World of Wheels on the showroom floor. I do a lot of work for car dealerships and fire departments off-site. There'll never be any big vehicles or industrial vehicles at the residence where I'll be at. There'll be no signage at the residence. It is a seasonal type of business. So from March to November is usually the busier time. And that would be under 10 vehicles usually. And during December to February, when it's cold and snowy, it's under 5. I try to do most of my work off-site. My experience, I've been privately detailing vehicles for 16 years. And prior to that, I worked at Napleton Mercedes, Jaguar, and Volvo, where I spent most of my time buffing and polishing black Mercedes every day. I've been selling commercial jacks wax mobily for 5 years, and been detailing, like I said, at the Chicago World of Wheels. The reason why I'm asking for this variance is I was doing it as a side business, basically, and it just where I was doing most of the family members and friends' cars, and it just kind of got a little bit bigger, and I want to be able to make sure I'm following all the rules for the town and make sure that I'm having my roots in Cedar Lake.
Thank you. You can have a seat for just a second, Doug. Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Any remonstrators for? Any remonstrators against? Any remonstrators against? Being none, we'll close the public portion of this hearing. Step back up, please. Question, department?
So one of the things to note is the property he has is zoned B1. They are currently using it as a residential home, so more than one permissible principal use and a home business. And the particular business he's wanting to do isn't listed in the zoning ordinance as a permissible home business use.
Okay. And being that far off of Morris, it's still zoned.
Yeah, it's zoned
Business?
B1. Mm-hmm.
Is all that zone business up there?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
All along 130, was it 133rd place?
No, just from
Just about
Morse
up
to
to your
Bell.
corner.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I own the corner lot, so it's from Morse to Bell. That whole block is,
Oh, okay.
and I have commercial in front of me. Nothing to the side.
Tim Kubiak has also looked at this and knows the product you're using, and any issues with stormwater are beyond minimal. The building department would recommend it.
Do you do the detailing inside?
Yes, and there'll be no more than one vehicle inside in the garage, possibly one outside in the driveway. And all work will be done inside, no later than 10 p.m. That's when it shut off. The only noise that would be there would be an air compressor, and it would be in abidance with the town noise ordinance. 10 p.m.
So what would you do? How long does it take to do a car?
About 6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours.
Yeah,
So you'd be doing basically one a day.
yeah, and that.
When you do them,
Yeah, when I do them, most times it's gonna be maybe 2 a week. One a day. A lot.
Yeah.
Unless it'd be very rare where I'd have more than that in a row.
and the reason you say to 10 is so that they could pick up the car.
Yeah, they pick up, when I'm done with the car, the customer comes and picks it up. And then the next, if there's a car outside by chance, then that one goes right in. There wouldn't be any cars sitting outside on the property. Or like a long line or a waiting line. I'm not running a car wash or anything like that. It's just private detail for high-end, usually high-end vehicles.
Are you selling any product out of there?
No.
No,
No.
because you said you were.
Commercially, I sell
Okay.
to municipalities
Okay,
and to commercial. I'm not running a store out of my residence.
And your appointment only, correct?
Appointment only.
so I got,
I really don't have anything. My brother's a fanatic. Adams College, he's like all about that stuff. I know it's one of your competitors and he's all about detail. So I get the nature of what he's doing. I don't think it's really intrusive, and especially if it's appointment only and you're not advertising out by the road. I get it'll probably fit right in.
Are there signage concerns?
He says there will be no sign.
So we're developing a list of conditions here, so appointment only, no signs. The hours not past 10 o'clock. No more than 2 vehicles on the property.
And that would be 2 customer vehicles.
During, on week,
Right, we know you got your police car. Your personal.
during the week and weekends, or just during the week, or
It'd be for all weekends, how the schedule goes.
Saturday and Sunday?
And it wouldn't be every Saturday or Sunday. It'd be by
No,
appointment.
but if we told you every third Saturday, then you're screwed.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I kind of have a tricky schedule.
Fully enclosed, the doors aren't open when you're working.
In the winter, the doors will be closed. When I'm working, usually the door will be open during daytime hours. And at night, they'll be closed by 10 p.m. for work, unless I'm in my garage.
Just remember, we had the Sadler issue on Moore Street when doors are open, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, stuff's going on. Whatever that stuff is. The reason I asked.
Whatever would be going on would be inside the garage, nothing outside.
There's a house east of you, right next to you. No, you're the only house.
I'm the only house on that block. And then there's a rental house behind me. I have a vacant lot to the side of me and a neighbor.
I went past there today, but I don't remember. I thought there was a house next to you, but there isn't.
It's it's behind the residence on the other side.
And your
of the
garage
house.
door faces north,
Faces into the commercial area.
Right.
actually.
towards Luke's or Holiday Inn. I mean, Holiday Inn.
Holiday Liquors.
Holiday Inn. What am I thinking of here?
So the noise is actually gonna be, if there is any, that much, a buffer and an air compressor, maybe at the most. And that isn't like a constant thing. That's no more than maybe an hour or so, hour or two. And like I said, it wouldn't be past 10 o'clock at night doing that type of work.
So to me, this isn't a whole lot different than if I were to do it out of my garage on my own truck, the actual, what you're doing is actually permitted. It's just the fact that it's a business. So I don't really have a whole lot of, as long as you're meeting the noise ordinance or staying within it.
I mean, I'm insured.
This petitioner only.
Yeah, I'd like that.
What was that?
For if this gets a favorable recommendation, well, it'd be for the petitioner only, and it wouldn't carry on with the property.
That does left or stop.
Yeah,
Around the house.
We are 2 board members short this evening, so you would need 3, well, I guess to proceed to the next level, you'd need 3, affirmative votes to, on the recommendation for the town council.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I guess one last question, Doug. In your type of business, you have your list of things. The last thing was consultation. What exactly is consultation?
So consultation, I'll go into like car dealerships and that's consultation for products and setting up their detail shops.
Okay, but that's done mobilely then?
That's mostly nothing
Yeah.
on site.
Okay,
The only thing on site would be the under 10 cars.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Reason Jeff told you that you need all 3 of us to say yes is that if you think there might be a chance that one of us would say no, and you would like more time or more board members, you can ask for a deferral. Your decision.
Well, and the big thing is that he wouldn't be able to come back for another year if he were to get denied, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel like I'm
Well, you are. You are. No, that's the hot seat right there.
No lifeline?
What
What do you guys think? Go for it. I guess I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah. Can I call a friend?
I guess I'm gonna go for it. I'm being as transparent as possible. I'll be
You can do it.
Yeah. You entertaining the motion, Chairman?
I am.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we send a favorable recommendation to the town council to allow, well, let me go back to the petition here. Pardon me. I want to get the correct wording here. To allow the petitioner to operate a private auto detail shop at his property at 7105 West 133rd Place. With actually as presented, as a petitioner presented here, also to make sure there is no signage, no more than 2 customer vehicles on the property at any given time, no work to be done outside, and no retail sale of any products on site. And that this variance is for this petitioner only, and to include the findings of fact.
No work after 10 p.m. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I kind of was going by the list that he gave us, which had that stated.
Okay.
They state 7 to 10 p.m. on his
I
application.
got it now. I see it. Just that I
Yeah, we can put that in there with hours of operation, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Sunday by appointment only.
Oh, he's got 7 a.m.
That's,
Which one do you want? Because you got, I guess you got it on your application at 7, and then you have it on the sheet that you gave us at 8.
Oh,
we'll go with the later one, 7 a little early.
Okay.
I guess that's.
all right. I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Send
Yeah,
a
I mentioned, yeah.
favorable recommendation to the town council. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Nick Recupito,
Yes?
John Capora,
Yes,
Jeff Bundy.
Yes. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
good luck, buddy.
It's not over with. Town council's got it.
Yeah. And that'll
Don't
be
get too jumpy.
next month? Or is there another meeting yet this month?
It would depend. We were gonna go with May, correct, David?
It can't be done before May.
It cannot be done before May.
It'll be the first meeting of May at the town council.
Item number 2, Summer Winds Commercial LLC, 11125 Delaware Parkway, Crown Point. The petitioner being Jeannie Lang, 5650 West, 600 North Lake Village, in the vicinity of 9849 Lincoln Plaza Way in Cedar Lake. This use variance is to allow the petitioner to operate 2 businesses, Focus Nutrition and Jeannie Lang Photography, on lot in a PUD zoning district. Mr. Austin?
Legals are in order.
Good evening.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Jenny Lang, and my name is Kelly Cripe. I'm actually the owner of Focus Nutrition. Be opening here in a few weeks, and we're super excited to be in Cedar Lake. So Kelly had designed her space with what would be the word for that? The back space wasn't being used, so she was using the front space for her store, and she had not made any plans for the back side of her store. And she and I had talked, I'd been watching her story, and we talked at the beginning of the year,
And I had set a goal for myself this year. I'm a professional photographer. I've been working out of my home, but I really wanted to set up a studio where I could use studio lighting and do a more professional, not outside driven photography business. And Kelly and I had a discussion, and we thought that her space would work really well. It has a separate egress. I'm at a loss for words at the moment. Why don't you say something, Kelly?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about what my vision for the business was when I first took it on. I'm with Herbalife Nutrition. I've been working through the Essential Lowell and Essential St. John locations. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Herbalife, but basically what we are meal replacement shakes, herbal supplements, herbal teas, and we are also health coaches. We invite people to come in and we help them with either their health issues or their weight loss. I actually just got this opportunity in November after being with Herbalife only a few short months, where coming from being a stay-at-home mom and a photographer, I was able to also grow in Herbalife and take this opportunity to open this new business. My original idea was to combine both the Herbalife side and my shop with my photography, and that's how I came up with Focus Nutrition. Focus because I'm a photographer, and also focus because of focusing on your health. The original idea was that I would have my Herbalife shop in the front, and what I will be doing is supplying these meal replacement shakes and teas, herbal supplements, and coaching to customers that come in. However, we were a little concerned. I was super excited to be a part of the Summer Winds project, but the space was a little more than I needed. So what we decided during the construction process is that we would split off the back 700 square feet and we would use it for another purpose. When I was first setting up, the idea was that I would use it as my own personal photography space, and I would invite other photographers to also come in and possibly rent that space at either a daily rate or an hourly rate or what have you. When I met Jenny, Jenny was very interested in starting her own commercial space. That is when we talked and we came to an agreement that possibly I could sublease to her and we could still combine that photography along with the nutrition in the front. The nice thing about it is Jenny is a family photographer. We are going to be a very family focused business. We would love to be able to use that space to also take photos of the transitions that our people go through in the nutrition process and the weight loss process. We also have Christy Broadway, who's going in right next door at Ultimate Salon, who is interested in using us for her photography for her clients as well. So that's kind of where our idea came from. And then Jenny came and met some of the people here in Cedar Lake over at the chamber and at the town and found out that we needed to get approval from the PCA. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay. And you would try to open concurrently with, well, I guess we couldn't, if you're only saying a couple of weeks down the road.
I'm looking at probably like 1st of May at this point.
Where's the building look? We're at in that,
We are right next to Pops, right next door. So we're right in between Pops and Alter Main Salon.
my question, how many entrances do you have?
We have 2. We have one in the front and one in the back.
Which one is she gonna use?
I would use my store hours would mirror her store hours. And so anybody that would come in through the front door, the main door, and then I have a entrance to my actual space. So it's not open to her space.
Customers for both would use the same
Yes, sir.
entrance.
Yes, sir.
How many square foot is the entire unit right now?
The entire unit, 19.
Okay, and the rear 700 would be used
It's
for
actually 577 square feet, to be exact. To be exact.
577?
Yes, sir.
And then 1964 total?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I guess I have a quick question for actually Mr. Austin here. They're mentioning subleasing. do we need to be concerned with what their lease says as far as subleasing, or is this going to create any, if this were to get a favorable recommendation, would this create any issues between them and the current landlord that we would have to be concerned about?
I don't think so. That would be,
I would tell you that the sublease that we have, that we're looking at includes the Summer Winds people. So it's not just between Kelly and I. It's actually three. leases.
Okay.
So it segregates my lease to her lease with Summer Winds.
Okay,
Correct.
so they're aware of this.
Yes. sir.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
actually, we have Brad Lambert,
Oh,
who
okay.
is
Yeah.
one of the
Developer.
partners in the Summerlin's complex with us tonight.
you're not concerned with their lease, their private arrangement between them. You're concerned with the land use
Mhm.
component, with variance of use and all of that. So some of that is coterminous, some of it is not.
Okay,
Our objective here has to do with variance of use from what business. Business use.
okay,
for positive.
okay.
If we give a favorable, it would just stay with the two businesses that are there. If one of them should move out, then for her to put somebody else in there, she'd have to come back in,
Yes, that would be my recommendation. You make clear, just like we thought.
just like we did the last petition.
It's the only way you know what's going in there and regulate under our code, whether it's compliant or not, whether it's approvable or not. whether it's appropriate or not.
I guess another question for David is, the application states, on a lot in a PUD zoning district, were there any kind of restrictions put into place or covenants against two businesses with the PUD arrangement?
No,
Does
But-
that happen? Or is this
It
a
could.
relatively
I've seen-
unique?
I've seen PUD or commercial PUD agreements appended to PUD ordinances that break it down that finely.
Okay,
It didn't happen in this instance and for this property. I think it was contemplated. These units were gonna be used standalone. And this is the deviation from that, which is why they're here.
Do you anticipate a lot of customers at the same time?
In my opinion, for my business, my ultimate goal is to be an appointment only. So it would just be either single people, single family. So
It's not
I'm not
walk-ins.
anticipating walk-through traffic.
No walk-ins.
I'm not anticipating walk-ins, obviously, because my business will be open at the same time. I'm sure there will be some curiosity of what my business is where people will come back there, but my business.
I'm just looking for traffic because you got Pops right there.
Certainly.
You got the bakery, you
certainly.
got the medical center, and you got the parking. So I want to make sure, the strip mall there was built for that purpose with the parking there, but I just want to make sure you're not going to have
Certainly.
20 cars at yours and
No,
20 more at
being a,
Pops and
being a
whatever.
photographer myself and then also working in the nutrition business already, I don't foresee there being a ton of traffic. I know as a photographer, I take our appointments and it's only X amount of people at a time. So I don't foresee there being any type of traffic issue.
Any additional signage for the photography outside?
The building has the Focus Nutrition sign. Mr. Lambert has offered a spot for signage for me at the lift,
The
Okay.
pylon.
the pylon, but the building itself will have the Focus Nutrition.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other signage on the door or the windows of the
Um,
health food store?
Per approval of the landlord and Mr. Lambert. If there is, it would be small and,
Like a sticker.
yeah, a vinyl sticker. for the window. Nothing obtrusive.
I'm good.
I don't think I have anything else at this time. You might have a seat for just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Any remonstrators for? Any remonstrators against this variance? Anyone at all? Anybody online? I didn't think to do Do that with the first one.
Oh, wrong one. My apologies. No,
Okay. Any written correspondence as far as in any kind of demonstrative form?
No.
Okay. Being none, we'll close the public portion of this hearing. Please. Building department?
As Attorney Austrian indicated, with PUDs and the contract, there was a PUD contract with Summer Winds. It was to develop a maximum of 12 business units within the project. It wasn't contemplated, I believe, that there would be more than one per unit. So they are not exceeding that. There were some uses that were listed as not being allowed, and this is not one of those uses in the PUD contract. We have also reviewed the parking, and Summer Winds Commercial already exceeds what's needed for the square footage there. So there is extra parking in that plaza for the additional use and amount of traffic that would generate.
Okay.
And Jill, just, did you say that one of these uses is not allowed per the PUD?
No, it's, there are uses that are listed in the PUD contract that are not allowed, and these uses that they're requesting are allowed.
Okay, they both are.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It was an excluded use provision
Okay,
to the approval contract. Approved contract.
okay. Well, I just have a question. Whoever would like to answer this, Jill, Rick. They're asking right now to use this unit for Focus Nutrition and Jenny Lane photography, but it already seems that Focus Nutrition is already being established there. So is this really to have the second use being the photography, or are we going with both uses here need acceptance? Both businesses need our acceptance.
I would construe it as both.
Okay,
Because they're codependent upon each other as described here tonight.
okay,
That's how they're interrelated. One leaves, you're gonna have probably some Mr. Lambert coming in here with somebody else
mhm,
for that subspace, or subspace will be subsumed or consumed by the remaining business. So I
okay,
include both.
okay.
We really probably ought to know and think about this in the context of what Brad and his partners presented to us about 3 years ago. He took a little while to pull the plug, pull the trigger on this, but this is exactly what had been hoped for. And you have uses like this, green uses, compatible uses, complementary uses, if you will, in the plaza, good and clean, and use retail and or service type uses like these are. And as John indicated, with the variety of uses that seems to have been accomplished. It's all good. See, you're happy today. I know you walked out of here a couple of times not happy.
Any other questions or
No, I'm good.
comments for the
I'm
petition?
good.
Okay. All right, this is a recommendation of the town council. As I guess I should give you folks the same warning that we gave Doug. This is normally a 5-member board. We have two board members absent this evening. So anything to move forward tonight would need a pretty much a unanimous vote.
I'd just like to say really quick that, we're really excited, and I really hope you guys consider us. We're family oriented, both of us, and me being a photographer and knowing a lot of photographers in Northwest Indiana, we don't have a lot of indoor photography studios left that we can offer to our families in the community. And we're both very excited to not only bring the nutrition aspects to the community, but also this service as well. So I hope you guys will give it the consideration.
I'd like to make a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the town council for this use variance to allow the petitioner to operate 2 businesses Focus Nutrition, and Jenny Lang Photography on a lot in the PUD zoning district. This approval will stay only with the two present tenants per finding of fact.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to send a favorable recommendation to the town council on the second use in a PUD zoning district. Any questions on the motion? No, sir. Nope. Roll call?
Nick Recupato,
Yes?
John Capora,
Yes,
Jeff Bundy.
Yes.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
passes 3-0.
and I would like to thank both of you for making this an easy night for us.
Our next meeting is in May. It'll be in
Town council meeting.
next, yeah, the May town council meeting will be when this is discussed again by the town council. Okay, thank you, Joe. Is that it?
Now, we have one more item tonight. That is the rules and regulations of the BZA. In front of you is a packet from Rick with the rules and regulations. Him and David have been working on these. And he also had provided an email to everyone, and he is on Zoom.
So we're going over these tonight?
Rick, are you there?
I am, Jill. Yes, if I can, did all of you receive the email explaining the major changes in these rules?
Yes.
That was sent out earlier this week.
I've got a copy in front of me, but I didn't receive the email.
Okay, it went out on Tuesday afternoon to all of the board members, as well as Jill and to David as well. But John, I know you've seen these before because you saw them at the Plan Commission level, and they are substantially similar to what you saw at the Plan Commission level. The primary changes are that once these rules are adopted, the petitioners would be responsible for putting their own legal notice in the newspaper. Currently, town staff does that. The notice would only need to appear in one newspaper as opposed to two newspapers that it currently has to be placed in now. Couple of reasons for that. One is that most people don't get their information that way regarding the notice of these public hearings. And the other is that since we would be, if you adopt these, we would be requiring the petitioner to put their own notice in the newspaper. It is more expensive for an individual to put a legal notice in the newspaper than it is for the town. The town gets a government rate that's something like, I don't know, 20% of what the petitioner has to pay. But I've felt, I know that it's not something that the town should be doing for the petitioners. The petitioners should be handling the responsibility of putting the notices in the newspaper themselves. The petitioner would be responsible for obtaining the list of adjacent property owners. Again, currently town staff does this. One of our staff members goes to the county government center to get this list. And that's something that the town doesn't need to be doing. That should be done by the petitioner. And then the petitioners would be responsible for mailing those notices to the adjacent property owners. And again, I believe town staff currently does that. Is that right, Jill?
We prepare everything and they actually take it to the post office, but we get everything
Ready for them.
very well ready for them.
This way, there's more buy-in from the petitioner in terms of seeking the variance, or at the Plan Commission level, what a rezoning or subdivision approval, those types of things. It's just having the petitioner be more responsible for their own requests. In the case of a commercial or industrial property variance, a sign would have to be placed on the subject property informing the public of the public hearing regarding the matter. But for residential variance requests, the only responsibility in terms of a notice would remain the notice in the newspaper and the letters being sent to just adjacent property owners. Then the petitioner, as they do to a certain extent now, the petitioner would be responsible for providing us with the proof of publication of the legal notice, the white and/or green receipts from the mailings, the copy of the list of adjacent property owners, and in the case of commercial or industrial variances, the proof that the sign was posted on the subject property at least 10 days prior to the public hearing. So those are the substantive changes to the rules and regulations. And again, those, I'm sorry you didn't get that, John, because I did attach the rules and regulations to that email. I'm hoping, Jeff, that you and Nick received that email.
I had not opened it. I did not. I may have received it, but I see it was sent to my personal email. But we've been kind of crazy at the store the last few days, and I guess I just overlooked it. So it may be in my inbox, but I just didn't get a chance to.
We were given a copy of the rules tonight.
Right. Yeah, but I wanted you to have them before tonight, so you'd have some time to review them. There's certainly no rush on this. If you gentlemen would rather prefer that you do this as an entire board, as opposed to just the three of you, I'm not necessarily looking for you to take an action on them tonight. It's a little bit more involved process for the BZA rules to be adopted than it is the Plan Commission rules. And the reason being is your rules appear in the zoning ordinance itself. So any changes you make to your rules also changes the zoning ordinance, which requires a public hearing before the Plan Commission and then ultimately the town council to accept that ordinance making those changes. So we can certainly take this up at your next meeting, and hopefully you have a full complement of board members at that time. And it gives you some time to look at these rules and regulations if you'd like to do that between now and then.
Well, Rick, these are basically pretty much the same as Plan Commission, right?
Yes, sir. The only differences, John, are the references to the makeup of the BZA according to state statute, as opposed to the makeup of the Plan Commission according to its state statute. So,
All right, we went over all this with the Plan Commission and that. I found them, I'm in agreement with them, but if that helps you guys.
Well, I had a chance to look over everything, Rick, so I do have a couple questions regarding
Sure.
changes. One thing that was mentioned was page 133, paragraph 6B, changing the use variance, who that pertains to, who that stays with. And is there an appetite to change that to stay with the property? Is that what we're trying to do here, or what's being suggested?
Well, generally speaking, a variance is if it's granted, it's granted to the property as opposed to the petitioner. Now, there are certainly reasons to vary from that, and tonight's were a couple of examples of those, where you had two businesses with the second petitioner that want to occupy basically the same space or the same unit, and you made that specific to those two users. Well, that makes sense because you don't want to just give a blanket approval for having two businesses in that same space, because what if they happen to be restaurants? Then that's going to be a lot more intense impact to parking regulations. So it makes sense in this case, but it just generally speaking, if you're going to grant a variance, it's to the property and not to the petitioner specifically.
Okay, now if that were the case and it were to go with the property, every little bit of that motion made and everything that was agreed upon would have to be followed by the next person to occupy that spot.
Yes.
Okay,
So let's use a little bit more clear cut example, Nick. Let's say it's a setback variance for building a house. And that, which is of course a development standards variance that you have exclusive jurisdiction over. If you decide that a 25-foot setback is permissible rather than say a 30-foot that might be required, well, obviously that has to go to the property, because the next person who buys that house is not going to be forced to move the house back behind the 30-foot setback line. So something like that, it's pretty clear that you're granting the variance to the property as opposed to for the specific petitioner.
yeah, okay, I understand that. I guess my opinion on it is that with the developmental variance, to me, that's kind of cut and dry to keep that with the property, but with use variances, I kind of like the fact that we have some flexibility in kind of deciding what goes in some of these places that are kind of tricky. And I don't know if I want to give that up, honestly.
Why would you give it up? You're the quasi judicial officer. It's your call. It's not staff's call, it's not the petitioner's call. You're making judicial determination. Land use application.
But I understand it that these rule changes, we relinquish that.
You haven't heard from me yet. Rick and I don't agree on all this.
Okay,
And I think there needs to be a debate over, over what's good and what isn't. What shouldn't.
all right.
Nick, I'm sorry, I can't hear Dave. I know that he's speaking, but I can't hear him. I don't remember putting in the rules that rule would change. What, can you tell me what you?
Well, I'll just reference the packet that you gave us today, Rick.
Okay.
Well, actually, this is the packet you gave us last month. So now maybe these were just things that were suggested, but you have page 133 of our zoning ordinance, paragraph 6B, and stating that basically variances when granted are supposed to be granted to the property in question and not to the specific property owner or person. So if a use is discontinued by the current user, the use as approved should still be valid. And in the past, generally what we do, just like the motions that were made tonight, is that the use wouldn't be valid if the ownership changes.
Okay,
If I may, Rick, I think he's referring to Title 30.
right. Well, that's where the BZA rules are shown in the zoning ordinance.
Yeah. Are we suggesting a change to that still?
No.
No, okay.
No,
Okay.
if that's the way you prefer to conduct the business, Nick, then you can certainly continue to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would probably be best. I agree that maybe we should have a full board here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Sure, this can be placed on your next month's agenda for action if you'd like to do that, gentlemen.
Yeah, that'd be fine with me.
Okay, very good.
I plan on providing
Good.
on the review. Rick and I talked about this recently, it's March 29th. But it hasn't got to this point yet. Now it is.
Okay, so is any action as far as deferring this
No,
required?
you don't need any action. We're talking about it.
Anything else, Rick?
Nope, that's it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thanks,
Good
Rick.
night.
Motion to adjourn, or do we have any public comment?
I don't know, Rich usually has something to say.
No.
No?
And you don't need a motion to adjourn. You could just adjourn the meeting as president.
Wow.
Hmm.
You never did that. You
No,
always-
but I-
All that power. Wow. Wow. I'm all right. Put it in minutes that 7:50 PM BZA is adjourned.
Oh, right.